disseminate all the way,
Yeah, let's get us started, and then we're gonna talk about what we talk about.
All right, I'm right here. I'm working on some stuff, so I'm listening to you.
All right. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Annette West, publishing pusher here. Thanks for joining me in the Jetney Publishing, talking all things books. Yes, the operative words, all things. I'm excited you're here. You listen in, share your thoughts. You don't have to be live on the screen to be able to talk. And I want you to know your success is my business. I'm here to assist you, support, empower, inspire as we pull out those thoughts to get these books accomplished. Thanks again for joining me. All right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Talking All Things Books. Good to have you here. I hope everyone is doing well. We are going to share more content on our preparing for live events today. I hope you've had the opportunity to go back and listen in to some of the other videos. We are 20 plus videos strong now, and I've been getting some good feedback from people who are listening into the videos. So thankful for that. Of course, we always want more people to listen. So as you come across clips that you think have content that you would like your people to glean as well, grab the video and share it. So good morning, Jerry. Good morning, Miss Anna. Good morning, Melvise from Written Word Publishing. Good morning, Sharon Rand. Good to have you all in the space this morning. You know, we like to talk about whatever is happening in our book worlds. I want to open up and give everybody the opportunity to share what's going on in your world. We we know we just had this wonderful election the other day, and I just am so thankful that I serve the risen Savior who's in the world today, and I don't have to fret over who is in a position that the Lord never wanted us to have people in. So, great day to you all, to everyone. Any questions for me as we start this week? Anybody working on a project that you want to share about, or anything going on in your publishing endeavors you want some answers to? Dialogue on.
Well, I'd like to thank Jerry for putting me in touch with someone who interviewed me last week on about the Robertson Family series, and for Melvise for putting me in touch with someone who will be writing an episode for the filming of the first section of the book. We're still working on details, but she has put me in touch with someone, and finding out what is required for a movie is more than just a notion. And if anyone has anyone in their circle who films Christian fiction, I'd appreciate getting a link about that. And I've already asked my family to include in my Christmas stocking funds for this particular project. But again, thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Melvise, for your leads. And we'll see how this goes.
That's wonderful, Miss Anna. You know, networking is so important. And the showing up part, how critical the showing up part is. and then speaking out, because people don't know what's going on in your world until you tell them about it. So Miss Anna, you were able to come in. You did exactly what the S3 model says. You showed up, you spoke out, and you shared what's in your toolbox, and then you gained some insights from others to guide you in a further direction. And that's what it's all about. Because guess who doesn't have all the answers? Me, y'all. Dr. Net don't have all the answers, and I don't even pretend like I have all the answers. Probably could find them if I need to, but I love it when there are other people in the space that are able to share as well. So thank you, Miss Anna, for sharing that with us. And guess what? That's something that we will keep in prayer. That Miss Anna's vision for her book series to become a movie or a movie series. Yes, definitely praying about that. Go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead, Miss Anna, and then Jerry. Go ahead, Miss Anna.
Just one more link. You talked about having our websites up to date. It just turns out that the person that my daughter put me in touch with about setting up my website lives next door to a narrator, a professional narrator. And so he is narrating book 3.
Look
And
at
that's the
that.
one we want to be made into a movie. And again, based on your recommendations, I republished book 3 under a different title with Ingram, which means I can now add that audio book to Ingram because I went ahead and bought the package of ISBN numbers. And
Yes.
so this particular place of gathering is giving me lots of ideas. And thankfully, I mentioned just a month or so ago, I got a job teaching online, which gave me the income to spend on this particular book. And so because you told me to get out there, money came in, and before the money gets cold in the bank, it's on the way out, but it's going out to people who have been recommended here. And that's what I particularly appreciate.
That's wonderful, Miss Anna. That is, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Because people be like, I want to do this, but I don't have any money. And the Lord is like, what are you capable of doing that can generate the resources to get your project done? My mentor, Dr. James eBay, is from Nigeria, and that was one of the things he would always say. He says, I have all of these projects, and he said, I'm getting another job so that I can take care of that, and I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna take on this so that I can get this particular thing done. So we don't have to just pull it directly from our funds. We may just have to reach out and do a little something more so that we have what we need. Because the reality of this thing, it's going to cost us something to develop the way that we want to move into the realm that God is opening those doors. Sometimes we need some resources, and we have to do all course good and legal things to gain the resources that we need so that we can move forward. So thank you, Miss Anna. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Jerry, yes.
All right. Oh, congratulations to everybody's projects that's going on. I had a very good friend I talked to. This guy's actually a gospel rapper, and he had lost his parents at an early age, him and his sister. Short story, he ended up going to prison for a few times, dipping and dabbling in drugs. When he got out, he became part of a presidential program to get his certification to drive a truck, became very successful. Now he's going around traveling, teaching kids about bullying and all this stuff. And he just released his first animated, well, not animated, but first children's book about bullying. And he was kind of in where we are right now, listening to you where you are, how to market his book. So one of the things I've noticed that some people are doing, and just going back to what Miss Anna said about putting your book into a movie form, because video is so big on the internet right now. There's just a way you can funnel people back to your book, which is your book is monetized. The movie probably won't be, but it is a form of marketing. He wanted some ideas how he could, market a book. And listening to you, Miss Anna, they do have some very reasonable ways that you can get your book into a movie. It doesn't necessarily have to be with physical characters, and really some of the things that's real popular now is flip book animation, storybook comic animation, and people really love it. I've been watching a lot of it on YouTube, and these people do a really good job. And you can get a lot of great artists off of some of the platforms like Fiverr just to release maybe 12 drawings and then animate into a movie. So that's a reasonable way to do it instead of trying to get some actors that can't act. And that's the worst thing, to have a good story and people can't act. So I'm not sure if you're going in that direction, but there are some very good playhouses that's around the country, and these people, you just hire them, and I think it comes with a director. So that's another way you can go to turn it into a play, a stage play, which can be also filmed, and you can use students. Don't shy away from students. They're really, really good. My son his film was up for an award. He won an Edie Award when he was at North Carolina A&T, and the same short film was submitted to the HBCU College Tour this weekend, and it's going to be part of a marathon screening, which is part of the whole Spike Lee and the woman from NBC. All of these people who are from HBCUs are going to be there. They're part of the committee. So you never know who's going to see your project. But saying that, reach out to some of the colleges that are offering graphic design and video production. Those guys know a lot of them have their own equipment, or they could borrow from the school, and they can make your project their school project. So you got to get them early though, because now a lot of schools got those trimesters and a really accelerated program. I think my daughter just told me she's about to apply for the next semester. I was like, wow, it seems like you just got started. So reach out to the programs and see if you can hire a student, and they come pretty cheap too, or free.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
That's good, Jerry. Go ahead, Miss Anna.
That 2 cents may save us $2,000. Thank you,
Or
Jerry.
or more.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'm talking about one episode right now.
Oh,
But
there
what
you
were-
go.
But what you were saying about getting to some of these film fairs, if you will put that information in the chat, because that's one way they talk about pitching what you want to do. The idea of doing the narrated picture books is one thing, but when you've got a book that's got 12 chapters, it's going to take a little more than that. But if you would put that in about the film fair, I may try to use that as a target for getting this episode ready for the next one.
Right. Now this is a HBCU student, so you have to be a student or just graduated for this festival. But if you Google film festival, there are a lot of them out there, and of course they come with a charge. The better ones, some of them are just monetized, but it still gets you in front of an audience. So and one thing too, which was really popular with a lot of those 99-cent publishers, they will write a 500-page book and make it a trilogy. So you don't have to release it the full-blown version. You can have part 1, 2, and 3 just to save money and have people eagerly waiting for the second part and the third part, like they did Godfather. Imagine how long that movie would have been if they didn't get it apart in parts.
That's the goal with this first episode, to get people interested in learning and hearing the rest of the story. So we're going to give it back to Dr. West. She's got a plan for today too.
All
Jerry,
right.
No,
we can talk another time. Thank you.
no. I appreciate the dialogue. Well, that's what it's about. Remember, it was always Jet and A Publishing Q&A. So we just added other topics to it. But this is good. But Jerry, when you were talking about the plays, doing a play, and that play can become a movie, who does it remind us of? Tyler Perry, right? He started out with plays, and then he started videoing those plays, and then they became movies. So anything is possible. When I just happened to look back last week at one of his original plays that was in movie form, and you can just see how he has matured and developed to much better quality and higher quality content. But nobody complained about the quality of the content when it started, because it was something that people didn't have. It was something new. So when you bring something new, it's a good thing. People are looking for new things, new storylines, and especially something that, like Miss Anna's story, something that is a taboo topic that people don't want to talk about, but
Right.
at least the movie will present it in the movie, however she decides to do it, will present it in such a way that people, it reminds me of something that needs to be on the Lifetime channel, right? It's a Lifetime movie. It's
Right.
a
You just
real
need
story.
to, yeah, just give them a little taste of it because you don't want nobody stealing your idea. Just give them a
Yeah.
taste. And and my son's project is actually one person on camera, but it's two voices. And
Mm.
he went up against neck neck to neck with a film that was crowdfunded that actually won the competition out of New York. So they had a lot of money invested in this short film.
Mm-hmm.
Still, he was still right up in the race with them. And who knows what's going to happen during this marathon screening, you know? So I would try to, and that's what I was telling this young man that was the truck driver. He has a fascinating story. I said, "What you do a one-man show and videotape it?" Mike Tyson did a one-man show in New York, and the HBO purchased it. And that was one of the most funniest, entertaining documentaries I've ever seen, told by him. So that could be something you can think about too, Ms. Anna, just getting in front of a camera, just telling your own story in a funny way, or, you know, you can make it dark. People like dark stuff. you know, Go for it, man. Just think outside the box, but don't break the bank doing it.
Yep. That's it right there. And all things will fall into place. We just have to keep plugging at it. Sharon, did you have anything this morning? Any questions or comments? Melvise? But I'm really excited. Go ahead, Melvise.
Yes, I was just thinking about it actually, and I do know of a film producer. He's in Atlanta. His name is Deontay Bolton. I have his contact information, so I will email that to you. I can't think of the name of his company right now, but I know I actually just ran across a trailer for he turned his book into a movie and he produced it himself. So I will give you his contact information. He may be able to help you on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
I
you.
know. I
I'll
know.
be
We
watching.
just. I think it was in Raleigh. I think it was in Raleigh, in the 1st of August, and they just had, which I never even knew anything about it. But guess what? When you show up places, you find out things. So I met a young lady in May when I was speaking in Charlotte, and she was telling me that she was an actress and that she was a part of this one of the plays and where it was going to be. So I bought tickets. I didn't get to go, but I bought tickets to go. But I think it's like the International Black Movie Festival and Black Theater Festival. That's what it is. So they had so many different plays that you could choose from to go to, but I had to deal with my mom, so I had to donate my tickets. But at least somebody got to go and enjoy it. So I know that that's in the Raleigh area. I believe it is the 1st of August every year. And it's big time because I couldn't even get a hotel in the area for like 25 minutes away. That's how booked they were. So people book they location, their hotels probably soon as the last conference ends. They already booking their location, their hotel space because they know they're going even before the different show tickets come out. So yeah, check out these different places. You just never know who's looking for a play, who's looking to in who will pay for a part of a play, not the play, not everything you have, but maybe just a part of it to get out there. So you just never know. Salisbury, Maryland. Okay. Jerry says someone else in Salisbury, Maryland. So when we talk about it, then people hear us talking and they be like, oh yeah, I know this, or I've done this, or oh, I know somebody who's done that. So this is good. Miss Annie, you gonna say something?
I just say thanks again. That's it.
Okay. Good, good, good. So I'll take a few minutes and please interject as you will as I am sharing. We've been talking about how to prepare for live book events, and I have shared as well as those who come in engaging as well. So we are in, I want to say, the 4th session. This may even be the 5th session. I can't keep up with it. 4th or 5th, where we're talking about how to prepare for live book events. So it tells us there's a whole lot of things that we actually need to know. So today I want to start out by talking about creating an eye-catching display. Creating an eye-catching display. Look, when we first start out, we got stuff laying on tables and, but if, we ought to be, really studying this thing so that our stuff can stand out and people can see it from a distance. They don't have to walk up on our table to look down from across the room. They can see something. So when I set up, I have a huge banner. I have a 6 foot, 7 foot banner of me saying Jetnay Publishing and a few little other things on it. So I have that up. I got my stuff set up. So having an appealing table set up. What's your brand colors? When you show up, whatever you should have determined what your brand colors are. And then your brand colors should run across everything that you are doing. Your brand color should be shining bright. Your attire might even be one of the colors in your brand. Usually the brand has 5 or 6 colors. Like I know for me, you can see it really here. Actually, my favorite colors, like from my ministry, are red, white, black, and silver. So if you look at the background here, you see all of that in this background. My publishing has more of orange in it. So determine what you want your color palette to be, and then work creating your content from that. So have an appealing table set up, banners. If you have quite a few books, you can get a book stand that doesn't cost that much, that you can just pull and set it up and push it down, and you got it for while you're active, and then you can break it down real quick. What about your branded materials? Do you have visuals that clearly communicate your book's themes and your genre? So when we talk about creating eye-catching display at a live sales avenue, this is critical to drawing attendees to your booth and making your place and your books stand out. So I'm going to share a few strategies that we can use to design a display that captivates our potential readers. And the first thing is using vertical space. That means book stands, like a 3-tier book stand to display your books at different heights, making them more visible from a distance. Your banner and your signage. Some people have signage that goes across the front of their table. Some people have banners that have that information on there. I don't have that information on my banner because I don't want to spend all of that money for that banner. So I just bought the color stretch banners that I wanted. I bought 2 of them initially. Now I have 4 of them because sometimes they get dirty, they get soiled, or get whatever. And you want to make sure that your cloths are always fresh and crisp. If you only have that one that you invested $200 and some on, just because it got your logo on it, you could have got your logo on anything and displayed it. Okay, I've had a little stand-up piece with my logo on it. You got it on different things anyway. But if you're able to place a vertical banner behind your table, that's a good thing. Make sure that you have on it your book cover. Like I have one that has my, let me think of which book it is. It's the Holistic Wellness, Mind, Body, Spirit. I have one banner that has that, but then I have another banner that is strictly for like the publishing company, where I'm going to have all books on my table. Or am I just going to publicize this one book here? Or I could actually, depending on how much space I have, I could actually put both of the banners up, depending on my space. But we want to make sure that we have our book cover title, the author, your author name, a compelling tagline, your access links where they can find you, what social platforms you on. You don't have to write them out. Just use the little icons. Just use the icons, and you want to make it visible from afar. That means people don't have to automatically get up on your table to see stuff. They see you across the room. When I set up in Columbia, not like last time, so it was October before, for that big event, my table was the first table when you came in. And I had two tables because I didn't set up as a publisher. I mean, as an author, I set up as a publishing company. So therefore, all of my books were on my table. I had Miss Anna's book on my table. I had the Rainbow Reminders. I had her other book on my table that I had gotten. I had a few other people that I've worked with, and I gotten a few of their copies of their book from them, and they were on my table. So even though my goal wasn't to necessarily sell the other author's content, at least people could find them, know what they had, and access them. So I don't have a problem putting people that I've worked with, their content on my table, so that people know I'm a publishing company. So I haven't published just my books, I publish other people's books as well. And one of the things that I don't do is I don't house people's books. So therefore, any books that I have of my authors are author copies that I vested in, which I only do a few just for mostly display, like maybe 5 at the most. So I'm not trying to sell my authors' books because I want them to sell their books. But if I can get their information out, that's what I want to do. So banners, signatures, shelves, or racks. So, but now remember, you have to ask before you show up what they allow, so that you're not taking things that you cannot use. Always have a few plastic or steel, stainless steel little stands on your table. I have plastic ones, and I have stainless steels that I got from like the dollar store. That was before they came $1.25, but I got them for $1. Nice stands that will they won't break. Okay, the stainless steel ones won't break. So I use those elevated on my table, and I take like little boxes and wrap the little boxes and have them on my table and put a stand on it. And then I'll have another one that's higher and put a stand on that, so that the book levels are staggered. So you can do that from the table as well as you can do it if you have a stand. But it also is going to depend on how much content you have, how many things you have, because you don't want your table to get so busy till it looks messy. When I go to somebody's table and there's so much stuff, I start getting overwhelmed because that little OCD shows up in me for organization. It's like I don't even want to look. It's just too much. It's just too much stuff here. So finding that balance of how to use your space is very important. Anyone want to share anything on the use of your vertical space and setup there?
I wouldn't call it the vertical space. Mine is sort of the horizontal. One of the things that comes into play is weight. Where are you going to park? What are you going to take? And how much is it going to weigh? And so one of the things that has worked for me is using placemats instead of heavy things. And so they don't take up much space. They don't weigh very much, but they have nice color to them. And so if you're traveling or you're having lots of books that you want to take because you know you're going to sell them, and you have not yet been able to get to the dollar store, consider different color placemats to match or to set off the book cover of the books that you're featuring. I think you mentioned runners on the table as well, because most places have either black tablecloths or white tablecloths already. And so you want something that's going to stand out, make your space look special, but not be very heavy and cumbersome to tote in and out or to lug onto and off a plane.
Yeah, and I've not attended any place that actually gave me a tablecloth, so I've always supplied my own, or I would ask before I went, can I use my own? And so I've been able to do that. I have one of those, the little trolley thing that they carry to the beach and they put all their things in, and you can make it into something small and then you pull it out. So I have one of those that I travel with when I'm driving. I travel with that, and I just put all of my stuff in it and just lift it up and put it in the vehicle and take it out. So, depending on if it's local enough or if it's travel worthy, you can take more stuff. If you're flying, you're limited. Okay. So things that we have to think about. Your little carry-on bag may be the minor things that you need for your table and a handful of books. Or if you got your books sent ahead, then you can take those other things with you. So using your space wisely, like Miss Anna said, hers is horizontal. I was more talking about, like standing things. But yes, if all you have is your table, then you work with that as well. The second thing is create a focal point. Create a focal point. What do I mean? Feature. So you may have several books, but what's your best-selling book? You want your best-selling book to jump out to people. So put your best-selling book, or the one that you want the emphasis on, in the center. Because typically when people come to your table, they come to the center of your table. And typically where you are is at the center of your table. So what you want that's of most importance to you, or your best-selling book, or the one you want to bring attention to, put it in the center or at the front of your table to immediately catch attention. You can also use props related to your book. For example, if your book is, say, set in a historical period or particular location, you can use themed props that evoke the book setting. So you can kind of research and see, when it comes to props, what would be best. Do you need any lighting at your station? Is there any special lighting that you want? We have these wonderful ring lights now that you can clip to your table. So if you want to emphasize and brighten your books, you can put them to the size of your table and have it shining on your books. So just a little food for thought. You can bring your little small LEDs. I travel, when I have my roll-on bag, I have 2 small LEDs inside of that I can go somewhere and I can just clip it on. If I'm in a hotel, I can clip it on in the hotel and I can use it. Because all venues will not be brightly lit venues. So you would think that they would be. But I went to one location where the lighting was not that great. And if I didn't have my lights in my bag, I would have been like everybody else. But I had those lights on the ends of my table, brighten up my space, and people were coming to my table and they were purchasing. So think about our space. Think about creating a focal point. Anybody want to say anything on the creating a focal point? Now this right here is even more critical. I don't like, Miss Andy, were you going to say something?
You were mentioning a focal point. On a previous time, you told us about taking someone with us. Sometimes a focal point needs to be between you and the person that you took with you. My daughter traveled with me the last couple of times, and so we still had this focal point at the center of the table, but she was on one side and I was on the other.
That's good, Miss Anna. That's good. So what about, then this is very important, display your pricing and your promotions clearly. There is nothing worse than going to somebody's table and they've got books and they have no pricing. And I've got to ask you, what is the price? When I really should be talking to you about the book or about your books. So make sure you have signs with prices. I would have 2 signs. They would be in clear containers and they will be standing up on both sides of my table. I will also have on that sign QR codes so that now people can see what the price is for each book. Each book is listed there. I will show you what the price of the book is, and I will show you what the price for today is. So this is the sale price today. And then you can also, after we've talked about the books you want, and I tell you the total price, you can just go scan the QR code that you want. Have several QR codes. Don't limit yourself. Don't cost you anything to have them. Get Venmo, get Apple Pay if you have an Apple. I mean, get Cash App, have Zelle, Zelle, have PayPal, have all of these things and give people the option. I don't have a reader any longer. I haven't had a reader for years, and I've done fine without a reader. And everybody has a phone nowadays, so all they can do is just scan and pay.
Dr. West,
yes.
One thing about having prices in place, my sister, who had her business for 25 years, was advised in her accounting and promotions program never to have the prices. She says, make them want it and be willing to pay for any price. And once I stopped putting my prices up, more people came to ask about the books. If the prices were shown, they would say, that's more than I want to spend. And so we have to decide whether or not that particular approach works better. Having the prices available, viewable on the QR code is one thing, but if you've got a $30 book and someone says, I can't afford to pay that much for a book. On the other hand, they come to your table because it's so well set up and they hear you talking about that book to someone else, they're willing to pay $30. And so that's what she advised me to do once I started selling my books in public. And since I have stopped doing it, my sales have not decreased one bit. So we have to decide which works and what space we're in. But that was her advice, what she learned when she was taking her professional classes.
Yeah. And like you say, everybody has to see what works best for them. I've never had any problem with it. I never ever heard a person come to my table and say, I think your books cost too much. I mean, I've never heard, I'm sure people say those things or they might walk away and think those things, but I typically do real well. So it's all about, I guess, it's you and how you engage the people that come to your table, and also consider, are you going to offer some type of special event discount or promotion at your table to entice buyers? Somebody told me they had a raffle. I don't like raffles because why would I buy a book from your table if you're going to raffle something off later? I'll just wait to see if I put my little tag in and I get called for it. Okay. So, and then the person that told me they did it said, somebody did win the book, but they hadn't even been, they came to the table because it said raffle, but they didn't look around. And then they won a book at the end and they didn't buy anything else. But like I told her, if that's what she wanted to do, all you can do is try it. If it doesn't work, or if it's not what you want it to be, then don't do it again. That's what I would say. So if you have prices on your table and you're not getting sales, then maybe you want to take your prices off. So think about that as well. Also think about bundle deals. Promote your bundles. If you buy 2 books, you get a 3rd book at a discount. Make sure that you're not just telling people that, but you actually have it on some type of sign so that people know. On today, if you purchase 1 book, you can get 10% off the second book or 15% off the second book. If you purchase 2 books, you can get 30% off the third. I mean, you can come up with just little, little things, but it's up to you. But you decide how you want to display your promotions and your pricing. Any other comments on that? the last thing I want to talk about before we close today is add your personal branding. I mentioned having possibly, I don't have a branded tablecloth, but I do have a banner that goes across the center of the table down that has the name on it. And it wasn't very costly. And I could use that on any color tablecloth and it would work. So instead of getting a huge tablecloth, all tables are not the same size. You got 6 and now you got an 8-foot table. You got an 8-foot, but it's a 6-foot table. Just get a plain tablecloth and then just get your banner to run across it. That logo, that banner can have your business logo, your name, the title of your book, whatever it is you want to create a cohesive and professional flow. And I mentioned, your colors. Once you've determined what your color scheme is, then develop your logo and be consistent with your branding by incorporating your logo and your book's color scheme throughout your display. Now, of course, this is for someone who's displaying for just one book. If you're displaying for several books, then you may be focused on the overall whatever your authorship brand colors are. That may be what you have out, and every book may have its own whatever, own bookmarks, own pins, own whatever in colors that but I think for me personally, because I have so much, it's just easier to have a neutral pen, a neutral whatever, and occasionally create a new bookmark. But I'm still, when I purchased my Centered in Christ bookmarks way back when, so that was 2000, I purchased 4,000 bookmarks. I gave authors bookmarks based on the books that they ordered. But I still give away that bookmark because I've not created a new bookmark for every book. Even the last one, I didn't create any bookmarks, but I told the co-authors, the collaborators, they were free to create their own. And I didn't have a problem with that. But I'm still setting on my table that first Centered in Christ anthology, always with the bookmarks and different things that go with it, mugs, bags, and everything as a part of the display. So just be creative and really think about, because you don't want to overinvest in stuff. So really have a clear idea of what you want your table to look like and then purchase accordingly. Any questions or comments before we end today? Let me see if there's any comments here. Okay, Okay, Jerry, thanks for sharing that information, and Miss Anna in the chat. Thank you so much. Okay, so if we have nothing else today, I want to thank everyone for coming into Talking All Things Book. Remember, we talked a bit today about how to prepare for live book events, and thank you everyone for coming in and sharing your insights with us on today. And hopefully I'll catch you next time. And remember to share this with someone else. Bye-bye, everyone.